I know, we should be dancing.
Okay. Welcome, everybody, to the regular meeting of the Eureka Springs Parks and Recreation Commission. Today is Tuesday, October the 15th, 2024. We're going to do a real quick roll call. We'll just start here. Ruth, you want
Ruth Mitchell.
Aaron Borey.
to? Mark Ingram.
Ruth Goodwin Hager.
Sam Dudley.
And Rod Gray will be here within the next 5 or 10 minutes, and Beth Giltner is sick, so she will not be here. All right. So we have the agenda. Everybody reviewed it?
Yes.
Anybody want to make a motion?
I move to approve the agenda.
A second.
Motion by Ruth, second by Ruth Mitchell. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? 4-0, motion passes. All right, then we have the minutes from the previous meeting that you guys should all have a copy of or seen. Aaron's been fantastic, by the way, getting these out the day we do them.
I know, you're amazing,
The
Aaron.
day after.
The day after, but
Hey, you take yourself another brownie, man. You deserve
you
it.
get 2 brownies.
All right.
So does anybody have any questions or anything on them? If not, do we have a motion?
I move to approve the minutes from the regular meeting from
September 17th.
September 17, 2024.
I'll second.
All right, motion from Ruth, second from Aaron. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes 4-0. All right, that moves us into public comments, and we have one public here. Our city councilman. Yes, you can go first, and second, really.
And last.
And there's Rod.
We'll wait for Rod to be seated here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Might as well pass those brownies down.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's the brownies.
He's going to want the brownies.
Hello. Good, how you doing?
I'm the new director.
We ready?
Yeah, introduce yourself.
I'm Steve Holofield. I live at 12 Hillside here in Eureka Springs. I'm here tonight not as a city council member or commissioner on CAPC. I'm here to talk about the November 5th ballot, the petition to get rid of the CAPC and the CAPC tax. I think it's really important that we spread the word how devastating this would be to the city of Eureka Springs if this does pass. And my fear is there's going to be a lot of people voting as a presidential election, and there's a lot of people are going to look at it and go, I don't know what the CAPC is. Oh, get rid of the tax? Sure, I'll vote for it. So a lot of people think this is a slam dunk, that nobody, rational person would vote for this. But there's people out there who don't educate themselves, don't really care, but they will vote on something, and they could push this through. So I'm really urging people, please talk to your family, your friends, anybody. Only people in Eureka Springs can vote on this. So if you live out in the county, you can't vote, but people in Eureka Springs can. Register voters on November 5th. And just remind people, the tax is collected by lodging and by restaurants. So you and me who live in town, we pay a little bit when we go get a hamburger in town, but that's it. The rest of that tax is collected from mostly tourists, of course, for lodging, for sure. And then it's given to the CAPC through the city to do all this advertising, especially nationally, $2 million budget for national advertising. If this goes away, I don't know what we're going to do. It would be devastating. It will affect this commission, how much money the parks get from the city and CAPC directly. And we're on the subject, we need you all to come up with a figure that you're going to ask for this coming year from CAPC. So
Oh, we've got
Little
lots of
business
things
in
there.
Yeah.
yeah, we're going to put a line item in the budget so Sam doesn't have to keep coming to us with his hat in hand going, can I have some more money, please? So we'd love to see you, but, if you could come up with like a lump sum that you think you'll need for the year, that'd be great. So that's business. And again, only voters So it's the local issue number 3 on the ballot. So when you get down there, it's 3, vote no on 3, okay? Anybody have any questions? I know public comment, I'm supposed to ask.
I have a couple real quick
Sure.
questions. One is, where can we get the signs for our yards?
We only got 100 signs, and they're all
They're all
out, as far
gone?
as I know.
Okay. I would definitely put one up if I had one.
Yeah, I went a couple Saturdays with Steve Kilbrew, we went all over town putting signs up.
I think another real key issue that people don't understand completely is the direct relation to sales tax.
Right.
I mean, if we don't have tourists, we don't have people paying basic sales tax, and that sales tax directly affects us.
Right.
And everybody else in town. So it's not just the CAPC tax that's involved. It ultimately will affect
Yeah,
All taxes.
everybody.
yes. It would devastate the city's budget.
And that's really important that people understand that. And people say, well, maybe it won't affect tourism. Oh, there's no way it won't affect tourism. So,
There's no way. And if anybody knows that local businesses operate in a very small margin of profit, even dropping 10, 20% would devastate most businesses in town. A lot of people will lose their livelihood. A lot of people will lose their jobs. This will be devastating. Another little point of business, I'm sure you all watched the city council meeting last night, right? They did bring the petition, or what is that, the change, the city ordinance, that you all could have 3 people outside the city limits. And it went through the first reading, but Harry Meyer changed it, and the chair will have to be live within the city limits. So if you don't like that, you need to come to the next city council member and voice your opinion and stuff. But, yeah,
I think we're all totally okay with that.
okay.
Yeah, I kind of
It
like
makes
that.
sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense
Yeah,
to me.
I think that's a good, well, thank you.
You
Appreciate it.
know, I'd like to thank everybody here for volunteering to be on the commission. I was on the HTC for years. I know you don't get thanked a lot. I personally want to thank you. And I watch every one of your meetings. It's like-
They're riveting.
it's weird seeing you in person, 'cause I usually see you on the TV. So. All right, thank you. If you have any questions, let me know, okay?
All right, thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
I have a handout here.
Perfect. Thank you. Oops. Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you.
Right.
You see, ma'am?
Okay, the next item is chairperson's comments. I missed the last 2. Sadly, I've been out of town this summer. And they just happened to be at the time when we have our workshops. So thank you guys for handling the workshops and doing that stuff while it's gone. And other than that, I don't really have anything. So we go directly to Sammy's.
Yeah, so it's been, since the last meeting, the big thing at Lake Leatherwood has just been tons of events happening. So we had the Arkansas Enduro Series came and hosted Eureka Springs portion of the series at Lake Leatherwood, or at least partially there. They had an event at Passion Play one day, and then a Lake Leatherwood race on Sunday, but they based the event out of the ball fields, and they kind of supplied camping for certain people who wanted to do that down there in the group campsite field. So it went really successfully, and they've already booked for next year. So I guess they were happy with everything. So, yeah. You know, it brings in a little bit of money, but also just brings in a lot of people who maybe have never been to Lake Leatherwood or to Eureka Springs before. So it's pretty cool. The fishing derby was the next weekend. It went really well. I heard that the fish weren't exactly thrilled. They weren't eager to get on anyone's fishing poles, but I think it was a good event, and it was really cool working with Arkansas Game and Fish as well as the Eureka Springs High School. They helped out with building some artificial fish habitats in the lake, which are really cool.
I saw that.
So pretty neat. Big thanks to Matt Ekman at the school. He's the shop teacher, and as well as John Stein from the Game and Fish for helping us out with that. The soccer club hosted the next weekend. Soccer club hosted their fall jamboree. As far as I know, everything went really well on those days. I just wait around, and if I don't get a phone call, I assume everything went smoothly, so I think it did. A big thank you to all the volunteers, because they're always, I mean, they do this every year, and it's a huge event, so, I mean, it takes a lot of work for them to do that, so thank you for doing that. And like I said, the park has been super busy. I talked with Juanita today, and she said this last Saturday was the busiest she's ever seen the park, so it's really great.
I was down there Sunday, and it was packed down there on Sunday, too.
Awesome.
Right.
So, yeah, we're bringing more people down. I don't know what we're doing, but we're doing it. We're doing it well, whatever it is we're doing. So I think it's just a lot of good, positive energy and having a good team down there. Yeah, and the numbers are proving all that. So the numbers are like way up from what we expected, what we budgeted. And just last little bit of news down there, we had that assistant manager position, and the previous assistant manager left to go pursue a different like career in the healthcare industry, and so we didn't have one for a little while, but an employee that we had on staff, we just went ahead and gave her a promotion. Madison Larson, she's really great. She's kind of perfect for the position, honestly, so we're happy to have her on through the year, and we'll keep her on to help us out with all the winter projects. So, at Harmon Park, the workshop building is never ending, but it's happening. It's coming along. We got the electricians there. I don't know if y'all drive by occasionally or not, but we got Old Town Electric in there doing some wiring in the upstairs and a little bit in downstairs too. So it's coming together. We fixed a water leak in the back. That, we finally got all the plumbing roughed in, and then we turned on the water and it was gushing out. Jeez.
Oh, no.
So we had to dig up another trench and fix that. So, yeah, but we're really hoping, I mean, it's kind of optimistic, but we're hoping once everything's done, we can, January or February, have someone in there renting it. So obviously we'll have to vote on rates and stuff like that, but Basin Park in the downtown Springs, all 12 of the benches have been claimed at Basin Park.
Oh, wow.
And
great.
3 of the plaques have already been sent for production. I don't have them yet, obviously, but they got the proofs done, and they're going to
Wow,
start
that went-
cranking them out. And
Even faster than I thought they would.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it was great. It turned out well. I was a little nervous at first because, like the fish at Leatherwood, people weren't exactly biting. And I was like, ah. But yeah, they all got accounted for. Thank you to everyone who did that, including Ruth Hager. She's like, oh.
Now I have to give you my payment today.
We know where you live.
Exactly. Main Street Eureka Springs, this is good news. I got that, this news this week, has agreed to fund a very significant portion of the installation of a handrail at the Crystal Terrace staircase. So as we
Okay.
built the new bridge, but when you walk up the stairs, it's not exactly OSHA approved. So we're going to get a handrail put up there, a nice one too, like
good.
sort of like the ones we had at Basin Park. So a big thank you to Jackie and the rest of the Main Street Board. And
Is that actually the stairs that lead from the park that's beside the library building? It goes up?
yeah,
So some of those stairs are like this. Is that
it's just
partly
even
going
more
to be
why
taken
we have to
care of? Okay, okay.
get a handrail
Okay,
because the
good deal.
stairs are. We could see if we could maybe while we're there try to level off a
Level
few
off some of
the really
them?
bad ones. There's
Yeah,
one in
some
particular that's
Pretty
like,
bad, yes.
it's like tilted up.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, and they're super short. They're like
Yes.
what are they, the treads of the steps are.
They're made for 1,800 size feet.
I was gonna say if people had smaller feet, I think. Back
Like 2024 size feet, so, yes.
Gardens around town just continue to look amazing, in my opinion.
They do.
Hope you guys agree. I don't know if you noticed the little flash of the fall decorations. I think that was really nice. And
Be interesting after tomorrow morning when it's supposed to be 33 degrees.
Right.
Like how everything does.
yeah,
I'm not
and everything
looking forward to that,
mostly
yeah.
survives. But yeah, kudos to Jeremy and Sharon for coming up with that idea because it was very affordable, but I think it added like a really cool touch for the fall. And that's it.
That's everything.
I mean, not everything,
Oh,
but
well, that's enough. Okay, that's something what you're.
if you want to know more, I can probably go on, but.
Okay, well, we don't, committee reports, we don't really have any committee, except the Finance Committee, and we don't really have a report, but we are going to talk about Q3 stuff here in a minute, so we'll deal with that when that comes up. We don't have any old business, so we're down to new business, and the first item is the Q3 financials, and everybody should have a copy of it. I talked with Sam today, and we didn't get a chance to update this yet, but he will, right, Sam? If you look at this, it's reporting the quarter. Well, no, you did January through September. Good.
Yeah, I give you guys a year-to-date
Okay,
as well
good.
as a,
That's what I was.
just a Q3.
That's what I was really looking for.
Okay.
The most. What we're actually looking for tonight, and I don't know if you guys have had enough time to look at it, or if it's been on Dropbox for a bit.
4 days.
We have, what we turn into the city, to city council, is the third quarter, which is the July through September 2024 numbers. One thing that, when I was talking to Sam earlier, having that where you see the total on that page, then you'll see annual budget and the percentage. It's sort of, that total stands alone for just a quarter. Having the annual budget and percent of annual budget is sort of meaningless when you're looking at one quarter, because that budget is not for one quarter, or the percent's not for one quarter. Y'all see what I mean? So really what the total is just taking out exactly what the end result of is for that one quarter, which is why the second one that he gave you in your packet today is really more important for our purposes, because it's given us a year today, January through September, where we are and what the annual budget was. An example being just general sales and use tax. This is, I guess, the top section is for Leatherwood. It's 151, and the annual budget was 220. So this next quarter, which is sort of about right, about 30%, by the end of the year, we should be right about where we.
Yeah, because the year starts off slow with those ones, because you got, January, February, and.
Yeah. So that's really for our purposes and for you guys when we're thinking about budget requests anytime between now and the end of the year, or as we're budgeting for next year. These are the numbers on that one that's really most important. How they relate to what we budgeted and what we spent. And the same is true in terms of what we budget for income and what we actually received. So those are really important things if you don't have time to study them all tonight and know all your questions, be sure and look at them kind of in detail, and feel free to ask Sam any question you want, because we're going to start budget talks soon.
Yeah, I was hoping the next meeting
Yeah.
or next workshop, and then.
I think
also the next
definitely we
meeting
should definitely do
introducing-
the workshops. I think that'll save us a lot, talking through some stuff during the workshops before we're voting on anything. But anyway, that was my 2 cents on that. Anybody else have some discussions or questions for Sam regarding the quarter 3 report? It's kind of hard to just pick out that
Yeah.
quarter 3 and go, oh,
I mean, there's some numbers that
what did you
stand
spend
out,
on,
but
tools that month?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of hard to know.
Any numbers that stand out you said that we need to pay attention
well, I mean, if you look at the percentage of annual budget, it should be around 75% for each line item, but obviously there's a few outliers, such as property and use fees, or property use permits and fees, which is 1,022.3%. And that's because we received a pretty large chunk of money from the Enduro Series, and then also on top of that, we got $5,000 from the school to use the baseball field for 2 years. So, I mean, we didn't really know where else to put that, so we were like, well, it's a property use fee permit. I mean, they're using the baseball field.
At the end of the day, everybody should be pretty excited that our net income is in the black. We always just want to be in the black. We don't
Oh,
want to
yeah.
be in the red. So we want to stay in the black. Because anytime we're in the black, we're not taking anything out of our reserve money to just operate.
I do think at the end of this year, we'll be sitting right around even. I mean, it's kind of hard to predict everything to a T, but I think with the next two sales tax incomes that we get, plus a little bit more income from the benches and stuff like that, I mean,
Plus,
we should be,
we don't get December's money till January, right?
Right.
correct. I
But
think, and it's,
but this January, we
it's
got
almost
back
like
to December's money.
I think
so-
it might even be like 2 months if you, I mean, we call
Yes,
it,
I think it's
when we
2
get October's sales tax, we call it September, but really what it is, it's the August sales tax, and then they have a month to collect it, and then they have a few
So,
weeks
yeah.
to disperse it, so.
I mean, it kind of works its way
Yeah,
out. through
it
the
all
beginning of the
averages
year.
out, but.
Okay. All right. Real quick, I'm just going to go around and make sure everybody has any questions. Reach and ask them. Ruth, you have any? Aaron?
Nope, not at this time.
Ruthie?
No, just hoping that this won't change anything we have to do with our budget.
Me too.
That's it, that's my
Rod, you
comment.
have any questions?
No, confusion that I'll talk to Sam about, but that's something I just need to learn about,
Okay.
how y'all do
Again,
finances.
I just want to be real clear that the thing that I think is worthy of you going back home and studying, it's not something we're approving tonight, this is for our purposes, is the July through September P and L.
Right.
Where Sam has included, it has the total, well, no, I'm sorry, the January through September P and L that has the total of everything up till the end of September and what the budget is. And so that percentage really matters over there when we're looking at that in terms of what you're trying to compare, like, well, like, I think that one you says 1,022% or something.
Yeah.
I mean, just think that through, and if you have a question about what that is, you know where he works. So be sure you ask, because that will really matter as we
Yep,
start talking
44 South Main Street, that's where I work.
It'll matter a lot when we start talking about the budget and upcoming meetings. And so you kind of want to familiarize yourself with what these numbers are and what they mean. And a couple of you, it'll be your first time to be in the budget talks, right? I mean, no, it will be Ruth, it'll be Aaron's first time. And Rod, were you here for budget talks last year?
Yes.
Okay, so,
Oh, yeah.
all right, so, anyway, I know I'm mouthing a lot, so anybody else have anything? So we're just going to need a motion then for if you want to approve them. The third quarter P and L.
I move to approve the third quarter financials for, what the dates were, I forgot already.
July through September.
Thank you, July through September 2024.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion by Ruth Hager, second by Ruth Mitchell. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion passes 4-0. All right, the second thing on the agenda, it looks like the same thing. Sam will explain why it's two different things. So we're going to let Sam talk about shuttle operations through 2024 to start with.
So, good news and bad news. Which one do you want first?
Bad.
All right, that's what I was hoping for. So the bad news is we had to cancel the shuttle contract that we had through this year with the current vendor. Payments were just not arriving on time, and I was tired of dealing with it, to be honest. I couldn't keep having to go through the spin cycle over and over again. So I called Mark first, of course, and we talked about it, but it's definitely within the contract that if payments were late, there's a stipulation that says it's an automatic termination, so we were well within our bounds to do that. I was trying to obviously work with this person, but, and, you know, it's no hard feelings. I mean, it is what it is. I get it. I can sort of empathize with him, but just wasn't meant to be. So that said, we don't obviously want to just halt all the shuttle operations, especially in the middle of October when it's the busiest time of the year for mountain biking. And as we said before, the park was busier than it's been in a while. So we want to make sure people who do come, at least there's the option there, a short-term fix. So the current person, the person who had the contract had a subcontractor that they were working through, and I would like to propose that we simply allow that person to operate through the rest of the calendar year, which is what the contract was originally stated for anyway, and just kind of rearrange the payment structure and how that goes, just so we can at least recoup some of the money that we've kind of lost out on. So I'd propose that we go back to doing the wristband system. I don't know if Aaron or Ruth were here when that was implemented, but essentially we just sell them wristbands and they have to put a wristband on each rider. And we sell the wristbands for, I would say right now, $6 per wristband. And so it's sort of a trust system, but they've proven to be trustworthy in the past, so I don't see an issue with that. But that would at least get us through the year so we can focus on what we want to do moving forward.
So just to be clear, they buy the wristbands from us, and then they charge for their shuttle service, and basically includes their wristband cost.
Yeah, they're just taking out, I mean.
They're paying up front for the wristbands that they're buying for the day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they usually buy enough to like last for, they'll come in and buy like 100 at a time.
Oh, okay.
So they have enough to last for a couple weeks
And then
or something.
okay.
Yeah.
And then we're going to sell these to the person that was the subcontractor for our,
I know,
right, correct?
it's a little
So the,
messy, but
so can we just use names, Joe and John? Okay. Joe, the vendor, John worked for him. He didn't really true names, but still. So John will now be buying them from us directly and working for himself or whomever,
yeah.
providing the services to the bike riders, selling them things, but we will not have any contract with him, correct? He'll just buy,
No
no ongoing.
official contract in place, no, but, you know,
Will he be
we
an
already have their
employee?
insurance paperwork and we have stuff like that in place, so.
So will he be an employee or a contract labor employee?
We're not
Us?
paying him anything. We're just
Nothing.
allowing him to operate in the park, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, that's basically what I wanted to say out loud. I'll get you to say out loud so you did.
Oh, yeah, we're not paying.
Okay.
Yeah, they're paying us $6 per wristband,
That's it.
and that's it.
Okay,
What does someone get for $6? The wristband? I mean,
Oh, I thought you meant in general. I was like,
how many times?
2 hot and spicy McChickens.
How many times are they shuttled up and down?
entrance to the KC band.
So, I mean, the $6 that John is paying to us is a fee basically that for letting John operate in the park.
Okay,
So
so
like the rider is not paying for the wristband per se.
we don't care what.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you feel $6 is adequate?
I mean, we were doing 5 last year, so I mean, I think a little bit, and it's going to be, this is a very short-term arrangement in my eyes, so
Yeah.
I'm kind of like,
Okay.
just try to get through the year and hopefully make a little bit of money from that. So, yeah, it's not ideal, but trying to make some lemonade.
Yeah. We're mid-August, mid-October already, and it's going to be 33 tomorrow. So
Yeah.
we hope for good weather for a little bit longer. Obviously, the better the weather, the more the riders. But basically, this shuttle service comes down in our shuttle turnaround, loads up the riders and drives them back up to the top of the hill, basically. And they kind of have their own, when we did the contract, we had they had the exclusive right to do that. But now they will not have an exclusive right, but not sort of moot. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like there's a million people in line competing to take people up and down.
Yeah, I
the
mean,
hill.
that said, I mean, like, if someone came in tomorrow and said, hey, I want to shuttle people,
Yeah.
here's my business license, blah, 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 I'm going to, we'd make them the same deal, $6 a wristband.
Yeah,
So
we're
it's
not-
not, this is not an exclusive contract or anything, it's just a system that we're putting in
Which is
place.
somewhat how it worked before, right?
Yeah.
So basically, that just gives them the right to go up and down our streets and pick people up, so it gives us a little bit
Yeah.
of income from that.
And I think, sorry, I'm going to say, that at the beginning of the Gravity Trails downhill project, for the riders to know that we had a shuttle was really important because it was new. It's now been so established, I don't think it's as important for us to have a contracted, whatever, like he was doing, because people now expect it, they know about it. We don't, in the very beginning of the project, we had money to help pay for an employee from the parks that did shuttling.
Yeah.
Then we paid for it out of our own pocket after that, but it's hard to keep that person ready to go Monday through Friday or whatever, on the weekends, 9 to 5, we're paying their salary. This allowed us not to do that with the vendor contractor. But there's plenty of business for lots of people, so that has changed from years before. So this would be interesting to see how this works.
Yeah.
It may not be the end-all solution, but it's a different thing than it was years ago when we first did this whole contract.
Yeah.
It's already changed a lot. People know about
It's
the downhill.
gone through
They use it a
many
lot.
iterations.
We'd also kind of hoped that the vendor, the past vendor we just got rid of, but that they would really market that business and have more people in the park and put on events, do things to make it a destination. And as far as we know, we haven't seen anything. I mean, that's what was promised. They were going to do their own sort of marketing and get it out there on their Facebook pages, get more people, in the park and doing the rides. And we never saw any indication that they ever did anything like that. We feel like that should be something that's highly marketed, especially as Northwest Arkansas is becoming like the mountain bike capital of the world, so.
Fortunately, there's a CAPC member in the crowd. We can wink, wink, say that. Yeah.
So anyway,
So I guess I would, propose that we go back to a wristband system at a price of $6 per wristband, and selling these wristbands to, obviously they have to have a business license, and I guess you could just say people who meet the requirements or have the facilities to provide the shuttles, I mean, it is short-term. We could just make it explicitly for this company A through the rest of the year.
Well,
But-
this is a sidebar question, I guess. It sounds like, are we covered for liability if someone breaks their neck or something?
We have municipal league insurance. Yeah,
Okay.
we're good. And, as long as we're not charging for the trails, Arkansas has a very, I don't know what the right word is, right, Ed? It's very
limited liability.
limited liability for the landowner in terms of trail usage. So, I mean, it would have to be something really almost flagrant for you to get sued. For example,
Okay.
like the incident at Dog Patch where the person hit the barbed wire fence.
So what
No.
if their van backs over somebody or something like that?
Oh, that's on them.
On them?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, if they're operating under a business license, which
Okay.
they are, then yeah. And, if they're on their way up the hill, which is not Parks property, I mean, that's also on them too. So, I mean,
When is the end of the season typically?
we're open year round, but I'd say that the busy season ends kind of early, mid-December. It kind of extends pretty late, honestly. Thanksgiving, you see a little bit of a drop off, but mountain biking is more popular, I'd say, in the fall and the winter and early spring than it is. Summertime is our slow season, so, yeah.
So let's get clear, just what, if anybody wants to make a motion, what we, very specifically, what we want to do. My recommendation is not put an end date on it, but it be until the next solution, till the permanent solution. You know what I mean? Like if we
Yeah.
don't have a permanent solution by December 31st, then maybe, we'll continue this until we do have a permanent solution. So
Or-
I'd hate to put a deadline on it.
Or on the flip side, if we get a permanent solution in the perfect world,
Yeah.
then next
Yeah.
November, we're not tied into this current.
Shouldn't
No,
we
that's
decide,
true.
vote on a new decision, the new program before we put it into the old one? If you're, I agree with
Well-
what you say.
No,
No, we-
no.
The contract is,
Yeah, we've already got
Contracts.
it done.
Been
All right.
terminated.
So what basically what I think, and I'm going to say it out loud, and then you can say, well, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Basically we're just looking for, because if it wasn't for rates, Sam wouldn't even need to come to us. But because we set the rates for anything, basically we're just saying, yes, we're making a motion that he could charge $6 a wristband to use the current guy there that's willing to do the shuttling for us.
or for anyone, really.
Or
But
really
yeah,
anybody.
but I mean, it is, we are
Go
kind of,
to a $6 wristband
yeah,
basis like we did back.
back in 2022.
Yeah. And I don't know that we need to set any dates on that, because let's say we have another permanent solution, we're not really looking at an exclusivity kind of thing anyway, are we? No, we're not going to stop
No.
somebody from being able to do it even if we had the ability to do it. Or we're still charging.
No, I mean, if we're doing it, I want us to do it.
And
Like,
only us.
Yeah,
Okay.
I want that to be exclusive for parks, because
All right,
yeah.
so this is
if
basically.
you show up on a Saturday and they have 10 riders, those could have been your 10 riders, and you're making $60 as opposed to, what would it be? 300.
Yeah,
Yes.
So-
okay.
So, I would say the motion should be something like, I'm just suggesting, that we implement a $6 per wristband price tag for any legitimate shuttle operators who would like to operate in the park.
From now until the new solution has been voted on.
Yes, or
Could we- or
until,
could we just say-
further notice, I guess.
Use the word interim.
Yeah.
Interim, yeah. Sorry, I should have come up with, I keep forgetting to do those
Yeah,
suggested
we were going to
motions.
just start doing those, because they really
It's
helps.
helpful.
You don't have to try to figure that out.
Yeah.
Is everybody very clear about what this is?
Yes.
All right, so.
Go ahead.
So
I make the motion that we follow the suggestion and have a temporary $6 wristband vendor until such notice is otherwise given. Does that work?
Yeah, sounds good. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Ruth Mitchell, second from Rod Craig. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. Now for the big,
Yeah, so, I mean, pardon me if I got a little excited, but, coming from the mountain bike world, I feel like I don't often get to talk about things that really,
well, just to be
Get me
clear,
pumped.
since we're on microphone and on camera, this next item on the agenda is the shuttle operations for 2025. And this is Sam's proposal solution to the shuttle problem. I wouldn't say problem, but to the shuttle
yeah, to the scenario.
With lovely graphics.
with lovely crowd.
We have an asset, and here's my proposal for, getting the most out of it in terms of providing a product to park users, as well as, providing us with some income that we can use for enhancing the downhill trails or enhancing any park entity. So, yeah, I guess we'll start with the overview. I guess a little bit of history, though, I guess it's in the overview. So, I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with it, but the Lake Weatherwood, and I'm calling it Lake Weatherwood Bike Park because that's one of those things where we've never even really decided on a name for it, and I think if we just really, that's a key to marketing, is really nailing down what you want to call something and getting a logo. I did get this logo from a local graphic designer, Gypsy Graphics, and I kind of love it because it incorporates the Bigfoot, and it has the Bigfoot riding the bike. and it's got the lake in the background and the mountains, and it also incorporates the Oz Trails color scheme, which is, all of the Ozark Mountain Trail system. So it just gives us like a very identifiable thing that people can see and be like, oh, that's Lake Leatherwood. Howler has their own emblem, and that's kind of what gave me the idea. Was like, hey, we need something that we can market, and I think that's a cool enough thing. So back in 2018, the Lake Leatherwood Bike Park was built. They built 7 downhill trails. Obviously, this was funded by the Walton Family Foundation through the Trailblazers. But they built 7 downhill trails with 2 hubs. So there's a north hub and a south hub. So it's kind of unique in that regard because, a lot of places that small would just have one hub. It's much like skiing. I don't know if y'all are familiar with snow skiing, but you got green, blue, black ratings, so variety of skill levels. There's lots of option lines so people can do bigger jumps. Those are all optional. You don't have to hit those, but there's shuttle and pickup and drop-off areas. I think you all know where the pickup drop-off or pickup point is down there off 204 by Miners Rock. Shuttle turnaround there. And then at the top, across from Anglers, there's the shuttle drop-off point. That's Parks property. Maintenance needs for the trail. Obviously, maintenance is a thing because we have to pay someone to do the maintenance. Otherwise, no one's going to come and ride them if they aren't being maintained. The basic stuff is, just weed whacking, tree removal whenever there's trees down, raking, you get all loose rocks and stuff, especially when it's this dry outside. So, and there's more kind of in-depth maintenance, which is going to be trail realignments, armoring. Point being that I think we have, I know we have a trail maintenance manager position in right now, and I'd say this would probably end up taking about half their time, if not a little bit more, maybe like 60-40 of maintaining the downhill trails specifically. And then the shuttling, we've had a variety of shuttle services that we've provided in the past, which is partly why it's been so confusing for park users. We've had the park-owned shuttles that we would operate on certain days, and then we'd also had private shuttle operators, and it got pretty messy at times. I mean, I do feel like the exclusive shuttle contract that we had was very beneficial in that it got rid of all that. Obviously, it didn't work out for other reasons, but when I was doing the trail work, my thought was always like it either needs to be all private or all public, because there's just not enough business for 2 entities to make enough money. It's just not, we're not Angel Fire, we're not Breckenridge, we're not any of these big resorts. So we tried the private thing. It seemed like a pretty kind of a no-brainer at the time because that operator actually bought the motel at the top of the hill. So it was like, okay, this is perfect. They're going to create that bike park experience that we, as the Parks Department, kind of struggle to provide because we're parks and we're limited by budget and also what we can do in terms of selling certain items or, discounts for locals and stuff like that. But since that didn't work out, I think we should go all in with public shuttles and just own it, operate it as we feel like we need to. Pricing has varied from $25 to $40 throughout, the existence of the downhill trails. I think when they first opened, they were actually giving them out for free as part of the incentive from the Waltons to get people to come ride them.
Right.
Obviously, that was not going to be permanent because you got to make some money off of it. In 2022, so I'm just flipping the page here, just to give you a little bit of a grasp of how much money we've made. In 2022, we made a gross profit of $54,000. As I was saying before, $5,000 of that came from the sale of wristbands. When you take that into account, every $30 that we could have been making, we're only making $5. So really, you kind of times that by 6. So that $5,000 could have been $25,000. Sorry, a little bit of math shifting there. Also, we were only charging $30 per rider, so I think we should up it a little bit due to inflation. But that brought the gross profit up to about 80,000. Shuttle expenses, really the expenses on the maintenance wasn't that bad. We were paying quite a bit for the shuttles themselves, but the maintenance on the shuttles was only about $6,500, and that was for gas and maintenance on the shuttle vehicles and the trailers. So they're actually not that big of a money suck, I guess. They're not that big of an expense
Are
to
those
operate.
still available?
We have the trailers. We sold the shuttles back in early 2023,
Okay.
but, I think they were getting kind of,
They're pretty run down.
yeah.
Do you have any idea how many you'll need for this?
So that's an interesting, conversation there. I have been in talks with a few people, local contractors, about potentially, because I'd say for most of the year, we only need one. But we have 2 trailers. I don't think it would be worth buying a second shuttle unless we really start seeing a big increase that would warrant the purchase of one. But I'd say we should probably start off with one. And then we can work with that contractor to come over. We can just pay them on days when we need them to come, and they can hook up our trailer and they can drive people for us for 4 or 5 hours. Just kind of relieve that pressure. And then, other than that, we're just operating one shuttle. So we don't have the overhead of that second shuttle, or paying for the driver that we may or may not always be able to keep busy.
So we still have a private contractor in there, but they're working for us. Is that correct?
Yeah, but they wouldn't be doing it wouldn't be the wristband system. It would be, they would just come and all they're doing is driving. Like we're collecting all the payments. We're doing all the marketing. We're doing yeah. So they show up, they drive from, let's say 11 to 3, and then they take off. So,
Be like a temp.
yeah, just someone to come in and relieve the overflow for busy Saturdays or something, or spring break, so. Just to be totally clear, this is not a huge money-making business. We can probably make a little bit, 10, 15, 20,000 maybe. But I think, one thing that I'm really passionate about as someone who's, under the age of 40 in this town, is like providing work opportunities for people who, not that we're a charity or anything, but for hardworking people to kind of start a life here. And so that's what the shuttle manager position I kind of imagine doing. It's someone who can come in and, have a respectable job that's pays enough to pay the bills and full-time with benefits, and you can kind of start a life and afford to live here in this awesome town that we have.
Well, it also solves the problem of years ago when we did pay a Parks employee to be a shuttle driver, he was just a driver. Who stood around waiting for business, waiting for riders to show up,
Yeah.
try and find work for the guy while he's standing around waiting, paying him for the hour. This is different. You've got a position here that gives someone multiple duties, including marketing and other things too, the office work, administrative work, on the ground, on routes, all that stuff, as well as making sure that there is a driver or coordinating. No, I think it's a great idea, and it's necessary.
Yeah, so, here I am saying I want to provide this opportunity, but that opportunity obviously comes with responsibilities. So that person will be in charge of management of the online and in-person bookings and the waiver system, which we already have in place, but, it would take work to manage that. Let's say you have a rain day on Saturday. It's going to be their job to call each person who booked and say, hey, sorry, the trails are closed. It's pouring down rain. And they'll have to refund the money. They'll have to contact all these people. It's like what I had to do. It was really fun contacting people on your Saturday morning to ruin their weekend.
It's never going to rain again. We're okay.
That's true.
Has there been merchandise in the past, like T-shirts and I see?
Well, yeah, and that's a market that we totally have been missing out on. And that's,
Because I think you can make a lot of money doing that.
yeah, those Eureka Trails shirts are just proof of that. We bought 100 of them. We posted that we had them, and people came down. We've already sold 15, 20 of them.
In this case, though, it's a memento from their day.
Yeah.
Right, it's a souvenir, and then it's an intangible amount of marketing that goes on beyond when they wear it out back to.
Imagine that on a T-shirt. That's super cool.
Yeah,
Or a bumper
yeah,
sticker. Or
exactly.
something, So, the shuttle operation itself is not really providing a whole lot of income, but what you are doing is providing avenues for passive revenue. For sales of T-shirts, for bumper stickers, for sales of bike parts, for sales of drinks and snacks, and
And you can give this Oh, I'm
And to attract bikers to this town that also hopefully shop, eat in restaurants, drink
Yeah.
beer, et cetera. So that's-
Yeah, you bring
And
them
you
in.
can give this person a bonus on, when they excel at what merchandising or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, if the numbers look good, certainly
Yeah.
they'll warrant a raise for sure. So yeah, I mean, that's another thing. It's marketing and advertising. So just strategic Facebook ads and, working with CAPC.
like the CAPC does.
Because, I mean, like, for example, CAPC is arranging for a photo shoot out there at Lake Weatherwood on October 24th for mountain biking, specifically for mountain biking. So that's something that the shuttle manager could definitely
Yeah.
take on and say, hey, I'm going
I
to
feel
arrange
like
this.
financially, from the financial committee, the most important thing is that we break even. I mean,
Yeah.
because we don't want it to cost us money every year.
To provide a service, yeah. Yeah.
But if we can create a scenario where it pays for itself, that's really all you can ask for in a public scenario, right? You just want to make sure that it's paying for itself if you're investing in it. So I think that's what's really key to us, is just always keep that in mind, that we want it to pay for itself. We don't want to be taken out of other things just to pay for a shuttle that may or may not get used.
Yeah, because, I think downhill mountain biking already has kind of a stigma in this town.
Yeah.
And, if we were also basically losing money on this operation, it would definitely just throw fuel on the fire for certain people to say, hey, like, we don't even like these people being here anyway. And not only that, but you're wasting our tax dollars. You're constantly losing money every year. Why are we doing this? But that's why I want to kind of show you guys some of the things I had in mind for this position to make sure that we're hiring someone who's capable and who's going to do everything they can to make sure that's not the case.
Why
'Cause-
don't you just kind of quickly go through the job description? Just
yeah, for sure. So marketing, advertising, Facebook, CAPC, working with other regional bike parks like Howler to maybe create like a pass where you can go ride Howler one day and, Leatherwood the next day for a slight discount. Partnering with local businesses, like, for example, you come ride the trails, you ride the shuttle, and there's a little 10% off Sparky's gift card or something, something like that, to where we can kind of help promote other businesses in town and bring people into Eureka itself instead of just Bentonville, and then they go to Leatherwood and they drive straight back to Bentonville. We want them to go into Eureka. Designing, promoting the sale of merchandise, or in selling merchandise, that is. So working with Juanita and I to, get those contacts established for, who's going to make these shirts and hats and blah, blah, blah. And then setting a price on them and being in charge of that. Selling certain bike parts like tubes and tires and chains, things that are easy for the everyday rider to replace. We obviously don't want to be doing too much, because then we're liable for, if we don't do it right and that breaks off, it's kind of our fault. So we don't want to do too much, but stuff that the basic rider can do themselves. Selling drinks and snacks and keeping all that stocked up, and also working with Juanita down at the park to kind of promote lodging at the park as well. So come ride the shuttle, you get 10% off a cabin or something. Vehicle maintenance, obviously they're in charge of the shuttles and the trailers, so if it needs an oil change, that's you go do it. Don't come to me and ask, you go do it. Employee management, hiring, managing, and scheduling part-time drivers or contractors, depending on which way we go with that. So it'll be up to them to kind of see what the numbers look like and determine whether or not they need to bring somebody in, and if they do, it's their job to schedule that. Trail maintenance, working with the trails manager to perform basic trail maintenance, raking, weed eating, stuff like that. This is if they have time. Obviously, they're not obligated to do that, but if they have a day per week where they're not, there's no one riding, especially in the summertime when it's slow, you can go out and you can help out with the trail maintenance. And then, doing routine trail checks. So obviously this person, I would prefer to be an actual mountain biker, so they need to be able to go and ride and say, hey, this trail is riding really good, this one isn't, here's what it needs. So just make sure the trails are safe.
Would this person also be involved in, Eureka Springs High School has a fabulous mountain biking team.
Yeah.
Ray, they've done really great this season. Do they coordinate with the park?
Oh, yeah, for
So
sure.
this person
Like,
could
that's
also
a-
be in charge of dealing with them and outreach and volunteering?
Yeah, it would probably be kind of a collaborative effort between Jeff and the trails manager and the shuttle manager to kind of volunteer day, or organize volunteer days and stuff like that. So,
Good.
but if they do that, then maybe they get a free shuttle ride for the day or something, Lots of good ways to incentivize people to do that. We can skip the bike park layout. That's not really that important. Just so you guys have an idea of what I would probably need, or what we would need to make that happen besides that shuttle manager position. Obviously a shuttle. We're looking 15 to 30,000 depending on the condition. I found one for like 10 the other day that actually looked really nice, and it was only like 100,000 miles on it. So it needs to be able to haul at least 14 people. Otherwise, you're only taking 6 or 7 people up at a time, and you're creating a bottleneck down there at the bottom. It's mostly driven on paved roads, so it doesn't need to really be an off-road vehicle. It just has to be able to haul the trailer. So yeah, the shuttle vehicle itself, 15 to 30,000. The maintenance on it's going to be about 5 to 10, and then a little bit of insurance. So you got the position, maybe some part-time drivers, depending on how busy we are. So the first year, we're looking at probably like $100,000. Just
I'm
rough
confused.
estimate.
I thought you said we already had one shuttle vehicle.
No.
Oh, I misunderstood.
We have a
We
trailer.
have 2 trailers.
We have 2 trailers and I
2
thought
like
you-
mountain bike
I
specific
thought you-
trailers.
I'm sorry, I thought you
Oh,
said
it's
we had
okay.
one shuttle.
We would have 1 shuttle manager position, and then potentially 2 when we needed someone to come drive, but
I feel like really some of these costs, Sam, are probably, you were being, I don't know is it, I think they're overestimated.
I like to be,
You were being
I like to
careful.
be liberal with the costs,
Yeah.
so that we're not,
Yeah.
want to be like projecting more costs than we might, and then
Yeah.
undershoot the bar.
Because,
And then we-
hopefully, I mean, when you say estimated maintenance fees, 5 to 10,000, is that per year?
That'd be per year, yeah.
Per year, okay. Because our old ones, that could have been per month.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, maybe we need to reevaluate that. Okay.
So we're talking tires, oil changes, brake pads, stuff like that.
Right.
As far as income goes, I mean, I do think, once again, we can only really base it off of previous years, and we've never really had our SHIT together in terms of providing a good shuttle service, in my opinion. It's always been sort of like wishy-washy. We just haven't really tapped into those markets of like merchandise and advertising and stuff like that. I really think we could bump it up, but even just based off 2022 numbers, I mean, a gross income about 80,000. So the
Well, I
first
think
year,
It's
we-
kind of important to maybe take out the cost of the shuttle as an
yeah,
annual expense, because once we buy it, it's bought. And
Yeah.
The rest of it just becomes an annual. And I would tend to think let's don't buy a $10,000 piece of junk that, that we just had to.
it was nice.
He said
I mean,
that.
I was
He said
surprised
that.
at how nice it
You
looked.
know, it only has 100,000 miles.
Yeah.
But they won't last long, even if we bought a
Right.
new one. It's going to be pretty rugged
Well,
driving.
yeah, it'll be one of those, the radio and the signage on the outside are worth more than the vehicle. We don't want to do that.
Hey, and speaking of which, that's another way we could generate a little income for the shuttle is you can sell ads to put on the actual shuttle.
Yes, you can.
Either on or in the shuttle. So you could either, have a yearly, like we're doing at the baseball field, like, annual renewal thing where you get
Excellent
a,
idea.
I mean, come on now.
All right. So at the end of the day,
It's night.
our executive, it's going to be the end of this day soon. You're sharing all this with us, and that's good.
I did not
Good
intend for
pers-
any voting to happen on this. It was basically a way for me to introduce it
No,
to you
there's-
so you guys could,
There's more homework to be done, but
Yeah.
this looks great.
I have one question, especially when we're looking at income and whatnot, that I see some numbers here from the 2022 season. Do we have any idea, like currently, how many people are biking up there? Can we get any projection of what this would look like for 2025, knowing, okay, well, you know, we had 1,100 reservations, you know, is there a current now that we're like, okay, we're at 8, or we have an approximation of who is up there now and what this would do to increase that? Because I think that would really help
Yeah.
project the income.
I mean, I will say that this year has been bad for ridership, which is another reason why
Even just like an anecdotal number, just based on
Yeah.
observation, if nothing else, of going, yeah, there are people up there,
Mm-hmm.
I'd estimate, you know, 50 a month or whatever.
I
Just,
mean, I don't mean to sound like I'm talking smack or anything. I really don't mean this, but really the only projection we can get from this year is here's what our numbers will look like if we do as little as we possibly can.
right. No, I was just curious if we had.
But I could,
No,
get
it's-
those, I could definitely get
Any
those
sort of
numbers.
data
I mean,
just to
surely they have a
establish.
system where they're.
Okay.
Well, it's a
using
good
like
question
we
too,
are.
Aaron, but because we started this, what, pre-COVID and then COVID and then blah.
Right.
And because we had the Walton family paying for the shuttle the first year, the shuttle employee rather, and then we paid for a part of the data is not really useful for making projections.
Okay.
It's useful
No,
for looking at seeing what
2022
happened.
was pretty
That's it.
useful.
And completely
That's
fair.
the
I was
only
just
year that is-
more curious than anything else.
The only normal year we've had so far because it's
The
nothing
only
weird.
other comment I would say, maybe you've thought of this, but in the income section here, I don't know if there's a way for, you know, we're talking revenue streams, to put together a package from the Parks Department of like, hey, rent a cabin, get bike passes for the weekend, et cetera, for $400 for the weekend or
That's,
something
yeah, that's
like
what I was talking about with working with Juanita. down there,
Okay.
Saying like, here's, hey, it's like an adventure pass for the weekend. You get boat rentals, you get a cabin.
Yeah, so tie it into either.
Downhill shuttles.
Either directly to us as opportunity number one,
Mm-hmm.
or within, and I see it within your job description, maybe tying it into a local business of, hey, you know, just kind of like you go to Disneyland and you can stay
Yeah.
anywhere in Anaheim and they have a package that says hotel, park admission, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So
Yeah, or
just
if you
kind of,
book a flight and they're like, here's recommended motels.
Right,
And
exactly.
those motels are paying for
But
that, but yeah.
because I think there's really an opportunity there to, rather than piecemeal our income, to kind of put it, you know, you get a T-shirt, you get a package, you get everything, and
Yeah.
it's X amount of dollars. So just something to, commentary only.
Yeah, yeah.
But what I like about that
Good.
too is that not everyone who comes to the park wants to do extreme downhill mountain biking. You've got regular mountain bikers, you've got hikers, people that just want to be out in nature and bird watch. And if you're attracting, say, a couple of people that want to come, it'd be a better way to attract them. Then one person was going to go use the gravity trails, the other one's they're going to stay in the cabin together, they're going to use the hiking trails, they're going to go bird whatever. So I think it's a good way to reach out to the diversity of people that we get in the park, not just the bikers.
For sure.
So, that being said, everybody go look at this a little detail. I mean, because he went to a lot of trouble to put a lot
It's
of
nice.
detail together. So let's all look at it and be prepared maybe in our next meeting, and not to necessarily vote on this because there's a budget whole thing and we'll be doing the budget thing anyway. But we might want to consider if we want to start this at the beginning of the year, we may want to start considering if a good deal comes up and he sees a great van or whatever you shuttle, that we're in the position to purchase it and not wait necessarily till the last minute. I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, at the November meeting, we can at least have enough time, or y'all have enough time. Obviously, I'm not voting, but if y'all have enough time and you feel comfortable enough, whether it's yes or no, you can, but if it is yes, it would give me enough time to, let's say we want to shoot for, I'm just shooting for 2025 because this is an operation that will require a position to be hired out. So it'll give me enough time to search for someone who fits the bill, as well as find a suitable vehicle. And then we also have to do a few more things like installing some signage. There's never been good signage. Also, we have to name the trails, which you guys will have to vote on.
We do have.
And I'm really looking forward to renaming them.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I mean, if we want to take this to the level of, that I think it was probably intended initially, and never, since I've lived here, I've never seen the initiation for everybody to make it as big a deal as it probably should be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's downhill bike trails
Yeah.
at Lake Leatherwood. I mean, it should be something that, especially all of Northwest Arkansas should be talking about.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it just hasn't been enough attention paid to it. And we've been kind of getting by. And in fairness, we have a lot of other things to do too.
Yeah.
You know, like
It's not the
just
only
that.
fish in our
But
kettle.
if we can put some focus on it, I think that'd be kind of cool. And especially if it pays for itself. I really like that idea.
Yeah. I agree.
As part of your homework assignment, not that I'm, delegating homework, but if you'd like, a good resource would be to, I don't know if it's kind of a drive, but if you happen to be up in Branson, to swing by Howard Bike Park and just go look at what they got going
What's the
on out
actual
there.
name of that? You always say it and I never,
Howler, like howler monkey, or like the Ozark howler.
Howler.
Howler,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
HOWER.
Gotcha. All right.
Or you can just like look them up on Facebook or their website, and just you'll see some photos of what they got going on there, and it's really, they're really good at marketing and the merchandise kind of aspect of it. So
Well, it's just branding too.
Branding.
We're branding this part of our park, this service we offer. It'd be nice to compete with the rest of Northwest Arkansas that's doing it too, and let everyone know we're just like them.
compete
We're just as good.
and work together too.
Yes.
So we'll put that, we'll move that, that'll become old business for our next agenda, and we'll put that automatically on next meeting agenda. And everybody will have done a little bit of research ahead of time.
And don't feel bad about asking questions, because I love to talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
So
We can tell.
The Geek Squad is in. All right, so are we good? Everybody good with that discussion?
Oh, sorry, one more thing, sorry.
Okay, go.
I really think it fast. You mentioned, Trailer, the $10,000 one. I know you'll do this anyway as your homework, but really look and see what the cost of this shuttle is going to be. What are we looking at? Are we going to look at, we're probably going to find a good $10,000 one? We're not, we're really going to need to spend $30,000? Let us know in a way that we can all understand what we're going to be voting on eventually. Because when you do buy something like that, depending upon the amount, what is the amount for the city to buy something with that?
35?
35? 20.
20?
You're going to end up spending more than that. It could take too long. Sometimes buying a vehicle, you miss deals like that. You're going to end up asking us for the amount before you have a vehicle picked out, possibly.
yeah,
It can happen. So we need to understand why you're setting the amount, telling us, yeah, I need a $25,000 vehicle because these are the reasons. The $10,000 one sucks, I don't want it, or whatever. Not that, but
yeah.
Another thing to consider is we can always raise the rates. I mean, I don't know what it costs to go skiing nowadays, but it's really expensive. I mean, if you're going to spend all day, and the pass needs to cover our costs, right? I mean, you've kind of pulled something out of the air that sounds reasonable, and we don't want to overprice ourselves, but we can always look at adjusting up.
Yeah, for sure. I'd say we kind of start lower. I mean, just to talk about that a little more, let's kind of start a little bit lower just to kind of try to build back up our reputation, make sure we're not deterring people from using us just
Quality
because of the price.
experience, yeah.
And then, if it starts becoming more demand, we'll have to, we can slowly adjust the rates up a little bit. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I love Aaron's suggestion about the packages. I think that's great.
I like marketing inside and outside the van. I like that too.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Is everybody good? Everybody got any questions? Because it's getting late. All right. Let's move on then to commissioners' comments. Let's start with Ruth Mitchell. And I know you had a couple of things I know
Just
you
a
kind of
few
shared with me.
things. The art community is jumping into the saving the art in the park idea, and they've got some fun ideas, and they're using a new vehicle. It's called the Art. I don't know. They already have an LLC, a nonprofit LLC going.
Nice.
I can't remember the name now, but yeah, they're studiously happening. So, and some future workshop, they'd like to come and talk to us once they have like a business plan for us.
Wonderful.
So it's cool.
Thank you
It's
for staying
awesome.
on top of that.
Yeah.
And then you had you
Yeah.
want to talk a little bit? I mean,
Yeah.
we don't have to get into great
No.
detail till you have a little bit more, but kind of share what you're
Okay.
kind of excited
Well,
about.
from the last meeting, I've looked at that beautiful bathhouse forever and going, oh, we've got to fix that up. I love Ruth's idea about, to rebuild it as a bathhouse. or refurbish it would be very expensive. And her idea of making like a venue for hire could bring in a lot of money, or some money, and then building a green bath house, a modern one that was green and that had adequate facilities for what you need, have all that analyzed and looked into and put in the proper place. I just think that it's a wonderful project. I'd like to see us move forward with that in the future, and also get the University of Arkansas Architecture Department involved. They do projects like that, especially when there's a beautiful historic building involved, and I'm just real excited to see that happen. So I'm not going to let up on that project.
No, it's a good reminder. We need it.
I'll share with you, there are some old mock-up drawings for like a floor plan
I've heard.
that we have in Dropbox. I can
Okay,
send them to
yes,
you.
I've heard there's some out there.
Yeah,
My husband was
I
talking
think
about.
Butch did.
Butch did, Butch
Yeah.
Berry,
Yeah.
Butch Berry did some.
So, yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Well, thank you for staying on that, too. Aaron, you have anything exciting to share?
No, I do not.
Ruth?
Nope.
Rod?
I'm just happy everything's going pretty smoothly. And it seems like we're all on the same page, which I'm very honored to be on this commission with everyone, because we don't have any problems. We seem to be so smooth with each other. And thank you for being that way.
You're done? All right.
I'd like to say thank you for all this hard work on this project. I think it's amazing.
Yes.
I do, I like that. Mhm. Thank you, Sam.
All right, so we're done with that. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Second?
All right, we have a motion from Ruth Hager, a second by Ruth Mitchell. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. We are adjourned.
Thank you for